Home values have recorded strong growth this year, averaging a 7.6% nationwide increase, but it has been slowing recently. Let's bring in the head of research at CoreLogic, Eliza, Owen. Eliza, thanks for your time. Talk us through these numbers. So overall, year on year, strong, but it's been tapering recently.
Kieran, thanks for having me. And you're absolutely right. We've seen remarkable resilience in the Australian housing market through the year to date, with values up about 7.6%. And in fact, nationally, they're only 0.5% off the record highs we saw in 2022. But growth is slowing down. If you look at the quarterly rates, for example, that slowed across the capital cities from almost 4% in June to about 2.5% in the 3 months to October. So basically, even though demand is still outstripping supply of properties in the market, supply is becoming a bit more shaky amid a high interest rate environment, stretched affordability, and low consumer sentiment. And we would expect that to continue, if not shift a little bit lower, depending on what the RBA do next week.
Yeah, indeed. I was just going to say, what's the outlook like, Eliza, particularly in the context of that sticky inflation and a Melbourne Cup Day rise tipped by many?
Yeah, so concerns around inflation data were in the quarterly figures. We saw a bit of an acceleration in the quarterly inflation rate of 1.2% in September, off the back of a 0.8% rise in June. Not only that, but rising home values often leads to more wealth effects. When people have higher asset values, they feel more confident in spending. And that could be one of the reasons we've seen relatively high retail trade figures through the month as well. So those are the sorts of things that the RBA are going to be keeping an eye on. And as that new data has come through, it's more and more likely that we will in fact see a rise in November. And that will, at least in the short term, push housing demand a bit lower.